really appreciate it.
By the
I'll
way,
keep the faith.
you raised some, no one fucks with the Bible.
Yeah, goddamn right.
And you can't argue with your brothers outside the house.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Now look, I realize this is not major news, but sometimes we can just enjoy the fact that sometimes people get caught on hot mics, and usually those moments are not great for the people who've been caught. But other times, there's Joe Biden telling the Fort Myers Beach mayor that no one fucks with a Biden, and let's be honest, we'll take that. The mayor responded by saying, "You're goddamn right," to which Biden replies, "You can't argue with your brother outside the house," and the mayor says that's exactly right. Now, it would seem that Biden was discussing the fact that he and Ron DeSantis shared the stage and came together to deal with the aftermath of Hurricane Ian, although it's not confirmed that that was the conversation, given that it was a hot mic moment, but it would stand to reason given the cooperation between DeSantis and Biden since Biden arrived in Florida to survey the damage.
Jill and I have had you all in our prayers, and I mean that sincerely, and we're here today because we wanted to tell you in person that we're thinking of you and we're not leaving. We're not leaving until this gets done. I promise you that. You know, when you walk around here, what's left of Fisherman's Wharf, and you don't have to have much of an imagination to understand that everything is historic, titanic, and unimaginable storm just ripped it to pieces. You got to start from scratch. Got to move again. And it's going to take a lot of time, not weeks or months. It's going to take years for everything to get squared away in the state of Florida, to fully recover and rebuild. We're here today with Governor DeSantis and Senator Rubio and Senator Scott and Congressman Donald. You know, today we have one job, and only one job, and that's to make sure the people of Florida get everything that they need to fully, thoroughly recover. We're one of the few nations in the world that, on a basis of a crisis we face, we're the only nation that comes out of it better than we went into it. And that's what we're going to do this time around. Come out of it better, because this is the United States of America, and I emphasize united.
Ron DeSantis was even willing to compliment Biden in decidedly hostile territory on Fox News.
Let's talk about, you had a conversation with the president today. Earlier in the day, there had been talk that the president spoke with mayors, but not you. But apparently the president reached out to you tonight. Can you tell us about that conversation? And in the aftermath of the storm, what support Floridians can expect from the federal government?
Well, Sean, you know, what I said today is, you know, my phone line's open. When people's lives and their property are at risk like this, you know, we all need to work together regardless of party lines. The Biden administration has approved our request for a pre-landfall declaration and did that very quickly. So we're thankful for that. You know, obviously, as the impacts are known, you know, there's going to be more requests, particularly for individual assistance for Floridians that may have been displaced. You know, and it's my sense that the administration, you know, wants to help. I think they realize that this is a really significant storm, and there's a lot of people that, you know, we're working with the locals. We work very well with them, of course, at the state level, but we really need everyone working together to make sure people have their needs tended to.
But let's just be clear here. While it's obvious that Biden is deferring to his nature of working across the aisle and helping in Florida because that is objectively who he is, it is also clear why DeSantis is doing this. He hasn't suddenly found it within himself to reach across the aisle. It's because he wanted Biden to declare a state of emergency and open up FEMA funding to the state, which, to be clear, is the right thing to do and was never in doubt with this president. But let's not be naive as to why Ron DeSantis, who is among the most partisan culture warriors on the right, is suddenly so quick to put politics aside. He's looking out for his own political interests, which is what he always does. In other words, DeSantis didn't change here, he stayed exactly the same. And if you needed further proof of who Ron DeSantis is, just remember, when Hurricane Sandy hit New Jersey and New York, a time that I vividly remember because I was living in New Jersey and watching my childhood bedroom wall bowing from the wind, Ron DeSantis, who was a newly sworn-in member of Congress at that time, voted against both the initial $9.7 billion and the subsequent $50 billion in Sandy relief in January of 2013. And yet now that it's his state that needs the relief, suddenly he's above politics. Suddenly it's a charm offensive from the same guy who decided that blue states shouldn't benefit from federal funds after a disaster, but red states? Absolutely. So I hope that asymmetry is clear. Even in Biden's most private moment, caught on a hot mic, he shows that he's above partisan politics. That's him when he doesn't think the cameras are on him. Compare that with Ron DeSantis, who even publicly has been an abject partisan when it comes to disaster relief. Even publicly, the guy has made it clear that when he doesn't stand to benefit, that he would let the victims of a hurricane suffer. But when his own political standing is on the line, well, then it's another story altogether. That's who Ron DeSantis is. It's about him first and everyone else second. So while I'm glad that Biden didn't hesitate for a moment to get Floridians the disaster funding that they need, I also hope that those Republicans, aside from just Ron DeSantis, but certainly including Ron DeSantis, recognize their depravity on constantly voting against disaster relief when it stands to benefit blue states, which are already donor states to begin with, but not hesitating for a second when it benefits red states. Although given who those Republicans are, I wouldn't hold my breath. Before you go, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more, please make sure to subscribe to my channel. You can click the thumbnail right here on this screen. And if you want to support my work even further, the best way is to subscribe to my podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen. There you can check out my interviews with major players in the world of politics, including President Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, Elizabeth Warren, Katie Porter, Jamie Raskin, and so many more. Plus other interviews that live exclusively on the podcast. That link is also right here on this screen, or just search No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen wherever you listen to podcasts.